Hello, and welcome. Happy Helpful Homes was born to be a space where we can talk honestly, from the heart, about one of the places that hold us the most, our home. Because our home is not just walls and furniture, it's where life happens. It's where we grow, heal, cry, and love. Inside these walls lives our stories of motherhood, change, sustainability, and everyday beauty, where desires meets the soul. I'm your host, Etienne Trindade, and I'm so grateful you're here. Take a deep breath, settle in, and let's talk about the heart of motherhood, the art of breastfeeding today. No one told me that breastfeeding could be both break my heart and heal it at the same time. That would test my body, my patience, and my self confidence. But it was also what taught me the true meaning of love and strength. Today, I wanted to share with you my story, the real, unfiltered version of my breastfeeding journey, and how the spaces in my home became my silent allies through it all. When my daughter was born, breastfeeding was nothing like I imagined. In my head, breastfeeding was you have milk, you don't have milk. But on the hospital, the day she was born, she could not latch. The nurses were saying, your breast is too large, your nipples are too flat, and every nurse seemed to have a different opinion. I felt completely lost until after 2 days, the nurses was taking my milk by hand because my baby wasn't able to latch. So we're giving milk for her in a syringe and it was extremely painful, so painful. My husband, every time the nurses came to the room, he would look at me like, oh my gosh, here we go. He could see how much pain I was feeling. But at the same time, I wanted to breastfeed so bad that I'll do whatever it took for me to be able to do it. And that happened for 2 days until one day a nurse with a bit more experience brought the lactation consultant into the room to see me. And that was life changing. I'll tell you that. Nobody brought her before that. And I didn't even know such a person, such a profession existed. I had no knowledge at all about breastfeeding before my baby. And the lactation consultant got into the room. And again, she did a lot of things. She looked at me, she looked at the baby. She saw that the positions were not working. She was screaming. She was hungry. And she said, I think you need to pump. Why are you not pumping? I was like, what? What's pumping? So then she asked the nurses to bring a machine that collected milk from my breast. I'm talking like I was feeling at the hospital because I was interested in doing some kind of course on breastfeeding. I didn't do anything before because in the end, my baby was born before we expected. So everything for me was so new. I actually got some pumps before she was born from some friends at work, but I had no idea how to use it. And she brought the pump into the bedroom and then she showed me how to use it. And that was life saving. That wasn't painful anymore. But I went through so much before that pump got into the room. That was me at the hospital. 5 days of the lactation consultant coming, trying some positions. We got an adapter for my breast called nipple shield. She didn't latch and she didn't latch. And I tried all the positions imagined. So after coming home, me and my husband were doing a double shift to feed my baby. So what happened was I was on the machine doing all the pumping, and my husband was feeding her on a bottle. And in between, or before, or after, or all the time, we're trying to put her on the breast so she could latch. The dream was she'll get the breast eventually. Things wasn't going so well. We decided to pay a lactation consultant to come home. I went to some moms groups and asked some suggestions, and everyone talked about a guy here where I live that's the best. And I was a bit confused, not feeling very comfortable to have a man to be a breastfeeding consultant. But after so many people saying he's the best, we called him. He came. He's actually about to retire, and he came and he was really good, really good. He talked to us, he looked at her, he looked at a lot of positions. We tried a lot of positions, a lot of things. He explained so many things for us. Was actually a really good consult. And he said, her mouth is too small for your breast. I don't think she'll latch before she's at least 4 kilos and a half. I think it's important for you to keep trying, keep putting her on the breast, but just be mindful. If she's stressed, take her out, calm her down, make the process good for her. And that's what we've done. So for a few weeks, my husband and I was doing this double shift. So I was pumping, he was feeding, and trying to put her on the breast. When she was 4 kilos and a half, she latched. She latched in one breast, but she latched. And that was the best day of my motherhood. I was so happy. I was like, finally, I can feel the connection. I'm extremely happy. I was around 1 week before my husband had to go back to work, so that was perfect. I said, now I'll pump once a day or twice a day, and then the rest of the day when I'm alone with her, I can just breastfeed her like on my breast, like everyone wants. So yeah, that was going well, so. Even though I was feeding her on my breast, she was still not gaining enough weight because she wouldn't drain my breast and she would latch on one breast, not on both breasts. So most of the time, I still had to supplement with the bottle to make sure she ate enough. She would be hungry. And what happened was, after being hungry, she was not happy at all. So, yeah, was going not perfect, but at least she was there. She was breastfeeding on my breast, and I was over the moon. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm loving it. And then that lasted few weeks, or even like months. When she turned 12 weeks, here we go again. She started refusing my breast again. And one day my husband arrived and I was in tears. I had a really hard day. She would refuse it. Thankfully, I had pumped enough the night before that I had some milk on the fridge for her. But it was very upsetting for me, like really, really not the best experience. And that's when I decided to book a doctor who a bit more specialized on that side of things. One of my friends consulted on this clinic, and these are doctors that just see moms and bubs. So I went there with her and she checked her. She talked to me a lot. And then comes the time to try to feed her. We tried all the positions, everything, and she just didn't want to. She cries, she screams. It was very difficult for me because it was like I was hurting her. So it wasn't like, yeah, I don't even know how to explain. It was like I was hurting her, trying to put her on my breast. So the doctor was really nice. We had a really good conversation. And after so many attempts, she looked at me very gentle and said, Mom, she's healthy. She's a happy baby. I do not think she will be able to breastfeed. She's a sensitive baby. Maybe her first experience in the hospital wasn't great, and now she just don't wanna to breastfeed anymore. So that was really hard to hear. To be honest with you, I kind of knew that throughout my few months of experience and all the backwards and forwards and trying and things. But as a mom, you don't want to hear that. And it's not because I gave up. I had tried so many things. I had tried everything, and she just didn't want to latch. After I left, I was devastated again, and I knew it was true. Started crying right there. I did remember the first days on the hospital, the confusion, the pressure, fear, not knowing, first child, and then comes the guilt of not knowing better, of not being able to help her more. The doctor again held my hand and said, "She's happy, she's healthy, and you're doing your best. The next baby will be different. Every breastfeeding journey is completely different." Yes, and that's me, just devastated. I left the clinic that day determined. I said, even though she's not touching my breast, I am going to pump until she's 1 year old. I can do it, blah, 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 superwoman. And that's it. Even if I have to pump 10 times a day, I can do it. And she is going to have breast milk. That was me being extremely determined. That's when she was 3 months. Just when I thought everything was under control, I said, oh, now I just have to pump. Another problem came up. She started showing some allergy symptoms, and no one could figure out what. So they can do a test. So the first thing they say, cut the dairy, cut everything. No butter, no cross contamination, everything. Guess what? I did. No milk, no cheese, not even traces of contamination. Some weeks passed and the allergy didn't go better. Then go back to the doctor. She said, wow, could be soy, could be peanut butter. Cut soy, cut peanut butter, and that's it. Because it's very complex. We don't know. And then you're going to have a very limited diet. Done. Cutted everything. And still didn't got 100% better, but she was better. But then every time you go out, even though you ask a lot of questions, you explain, sometimes a cross contamination happens and the mom guilt is massive. When she turned 5 months, the amount of milk she needed doubled. But since she didn't touch my breast, my body wasn't receiving the signs that she needed more milk. So I was pumping a lot, doing everything I could, but still wasn't enough. What I've done is I started supplementing with formula. I was doing the milk diet, supplementing with formula. What I was doing was I was giving her 25% formula and 75% breast milk. And for the first time, interesting, her digestion improved, poop improved, because when they have issues with the milk is their poop and blood on the stool. It was kind of a relief for me because that was the first time for months that she was feeling better, even though I was doing everything I could to help her. After so many appointments, tears, and sleepless nights, something was finally worked. So the formula with the breast milk was going well. But each time I thought everything was fine, something will happen. I would eat on something without knowing, cross contamination, and everything would get worse again. And I would feel horrible. Horrible, horrible. I'll feel guilty and I'll start crying. And my husband would hold me and say, I know it's been hard. You've been amazing. Look everything you've done for her. But somehow you just feel like you want to do more. You want to do everything for that little person, every single thing you can. And I felt like a failure. I felt like a completely failure. I couldn't give her what she needed, and she was about to turn 6 months. And that's when I could go back. I went back to that doctor from the beginning to do the vaccinations, do the weights, checkups, and she was doing really well. And that's when made a very difficult decision. That's when I said to her, I this is happening. She knew the case because I've been there so many other times. And I decided to stop breastfeeding. And she said, yes, I completely understand. I think you need to do what's right for your mental health. She needs you to be positive, happy. I know it's been a really hard journey. And if that's what you feel it's the best, I'm sure that's going to be the best for her. And she explained that after 6 months, it's more about the connection. I don't understand breastfeeding. I'm not an expert on breastfeeding. I completely believe the doctor. I think sometimes you just want someone to reassure that it's okay because you just done everything you could and you used all your energy on that. And she said, just do the formula, focus on probiotics, and just really focus on your health to be good so she can be good. And yeah, so that's when I made that decision. It wasn't easy. And I decided to share this story here. Just, I don't know, if you're going through a difficult moment as well on your journey as a mom, just to let you know that I see you. No matter what we do, I think we always find a way to blame ourselves for something, even though sometimes it's not just meant to be. I don't know. I think I have all the friends that had a difficult journey with breastfeeding, and they also felt, I don't know, I think you feel a bit powerless. But between allergies, weight gain, and exhausting, I was just losing myself. It's like the fact that she had the allergies, she wasn't gaining enough weight. I was just completely losing myself. And each journey is completely unique. Whatever if you're breastfeeding, pumping, nursing formula, you are an amazing mom. I'm sure of that. I just want to share a little bit of curiosity research. Did you know producing breast milk burns about 500 to 700 calories a day? Your body changes its metabolism, heart rate, and temperature. Everything to nourish another human being. It's one of the most demanding and extraordinary functions of the female body. So even on the hard days, remember your body is performing a miracle. You're doing something incredible. Be kind on yourself. I know it's hard because I've been there, but I'll tell you one thing. I am so grateful for my body. I never been so grateful in my life. I just had a little human being and my body's been doing so well. Even though she not being able to latch, my body was there showing up every single day for her, producing milk for her, and I'm extremely grateful for that. So don't forget that, please, that your body is doing such a good job. Be kind to yourself. So what I want to bring today, after telling you from the bottom of my heart how this experience has been hard on me, is some things I've done in my house before she was born, even some things that maybe could help you through this journey as well, because it's not an easy journey. I feel that when you have the spaces organized and set up for it, makes things much easier for you. I'll tell you that. After everything, I realized something powerful. When everything else felt off control, completely out of control, my home became my safe haven. The spaces I created with intention helped me breathe, heal, and find calm. I want to share with you a few small things that truly made a difference. The first thing I've done on before she was even born was creating a nursing corner. Choose a corner in your baby's room or your bedroom if you have a nice big bedroom just for breastfeeding. Just a little space. I'll tell you something. I thought that would be like the movies, or they just latch and like you can breastfeed them on the bed or whatever you want. No, it's not like that. On the beginning, it's not like that. So create a little space that can become a little sanctuary for you and your baby. Comfortable with everything you need, practical, but at the same time, relaxing. A space that holds you when you're tired, emotionally drained, does not need to be fancy. Just a place you can breathe and remind yourself, I'm doing my best. Number two, choose a really comfortable chair. Don't be ashamed to go to all the shops and try the chairs. If you buy it secondhand, try the chair as well. Don't be ashamed. Don't be. I was extremely big. I already have like large hips. I was going to the shops and trying every single chair. I'll tell you something. The nursery chair is very important. Some days you end up having to do a little overnight there with the baby. And it's something that you don't use just for a short period. We still use our chair a lot. We still nurse her, read for her, and do a lot of things like hold her on the chair. And it's a really good chair to calm her down as well. When we're looking for the chair, my husband did a bit of research. He was very involved with me as well. And he said, what about we get a electrical chair in case you need a cesarean? And at the time, again, I was extremely determined to have a natural birth, but I had some complications. I don't want to get into details. And I did end up having a cesarean. And having the electrical chair was the best thing I ever made because I did not have the strength to back up the chair. So I have no regret on investing on a good chair. We use the chair. Another thing that's really good is having a little bit of rocking movement if the chair has that, because the baby like that kind of movement as well. So just be mindful. Doesn't need to be fancy, but needs to be comfortable because you might end up spending a lot of time on that chair. Alrighty. So another tip for your breastfeeding corner is have a little trolley instead of a side table. This is a mistake tip I'm giving you. So at the beginning, I did like everyone does. I did set up a little side table. I said, all I need is water, and that's it. I had no idea I would be pumping so much. And all the bottles, all the pads, everything I needed was a lot on the beginning. As the time goes and things start flowing, you probably need less things, but this first few weeks was a lot. The pumping, the bottles, the water, being there for so long. And I did end up buying a trolley. We still use it a lot. That was very practical. That was 3 tiers. I could put the pump on the bottle, the bottles on the middle, all the other things I needed on the top, and still have space for my water. It's not expensive. It's actually sometimes cheaper than buying a side table, but was very useful, and I still use it a lot. Another one that could save you because having things organized is so handy. We used to fill up the trolley before going to bed, especially on the beginning that we're waking up so much during the night. So having everything there in the middle of the night is very useful. When we think about design, sometimes we think about having to be beautiful all the time or having to be perfect. Homes are not like that. Real homes are adaptable places for what you need on the moment. Okay? So those nurseries that everything is immaculate does not exist. When you're nurturing a baby, you need a space that hugs you, help you feel safe and practical, easy, with everything in place in a way that makes your house very easy. Last tip for you today. Last thing I want to say is take care of yourself. Your mental and emotional health is the most important thing. You're nursing a human being. Find little small rituals for you to be able to relax throughout the day. It's not easy because even as they grow, there is no such thing for mom to take a day off. Maybe you can live there a little bit with your husband, but I don't think you can take a day off. So 10 minutes, 10 to 10 minutes, a cup of tea, getting out of on the garden, putting your feet on the grass. Do something you enjoy. Some people like to exercise. There are so many exercises that can be like 5 minutes. Breathe. Remind that you're still you. You're not just a mom. You are an amazing mom, but you're still yourself as well. One thing that helped me a lot, I couldn't do every day, maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, but something I love even before I had a baby, so I try to keep my tradition, is having a bath with essential oils, with Epsom salt. Sometimes I just go in the garden and get some lavender, some rosemaries, and put on the bath. And that's it. Even if I could stay there just for 20 minutes, that was super relaxing for me. But that's my tradition. Just find your tradition. I'm sure that is something you like to do because sometimes you just need that time for yourself, a little bit of little bit of relaxation. Those minutes can recharge you more than you can imagine. So the smells, something different, it's very important. The big lesson of this, if there is one thing this journey taught me, is that our homes can really support us. Especially on those first few months, you spend a lot of time in your house. So having a place that you enjoy, it's very important. Not because the home is perfect, but because they can hold us when we are not holding ourselves. Every corner, every chair, every soft life can whisper, you're safe, you're doing your best. Home won't erase the challenges of motherhood. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it can give you a strength and tenderness to get through them. So whether you're breastfeeding, pumping, or bottle feeding, you are enough. You are amazing. And your space can remind you of that every single day. I love you. Thank you for being here with me. And I'll see you on the next episode. If you think this episode touched your heart and helped you somehow, and you think of a friend or your sister, anyone, just send them this episode. Thank you so much. Bye.